Guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. Man, do I have a special video for y'all today. This is a 1995 Pontiac Firehawk. Only 671 of these were made. This one has the 5.7 liter LT1 with a T56 6-speed and T-tops. Now, this particular car is special to me because it's very special to a very good friend of mine named Charlie. Now, just to give you a quick overview of how I got my hands on this car, Charlie lives in Iowa and his brother lived in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, his brother passed away. So Charlie's been handling his brother's estate. He had an El Camino and he had this car along with another truck. So Charlie gave me a call and said, hey man, I have this car that hasn't run in 10 years. You think you want to take a look at it and see if you can get it running and driving for me? I said, heck yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is very rough. Now the story is, his brother was driving this thing in a storm about 10 years ago and drove through some deep water and the car shut off. So I'm really worried to find what we got going on, but I haven't really touched it since I picked it up. This is actually the first vehicle in the shop. I rolled it right over there and y'all probably been seeing this thing in all the videos in the new shop, but it's time for this thing to shine. Let's do a quick walk around of this bad boy. So like I said, only 671 of these were made in 1995. I mean, these were the cat's meow back in the day. This one has had a fairly rough life though. I haven't popped the hood. I have opened the door in the interior. It's pretty rough. So the exterior of this car is not in great shape at all. I mean, we got a bunch of sun fading. We got some body work that's popping through that was, it's been reworked, but it's just been sitting out in the sun. The T-tops have been leaking for who knows how long. We got cracked plastic panels back here. These taillights are full of water. I mean, it is rough. Now, I don't really see a lot of rot on the body, but the undercarriage has quite a bit of surface rust because Charlie's brother lived beachside in Jacksonville. So you get a lot of salt air that just destroys anything metal. Is very corrosive. So he did have this car covered, but unfortunately, it didn't really do that much to help this thing. We got mold all over the door panels, all over the steering wheel, dude. The seats are just trashed. I mean, look at the headline. There's mold literally everywhere in this car. It smells like it's been sitting in a barn for 50 years. It's just musty and gross. There's actually a water line right here from where it looks like water sat in the car for a while. It's pretty, it's pretty rough. So, not really gonna be doing anything with that right now. I also don't know how far we're gonna take this car in terms of like fixing up the body. The goal right now is just get it running and driving and then get the interior cleaned up because dude, just look at the steering wheel. It's just, God, I don't even want to touch it, man. Actually, my chest hurts just thinking about all the mold spores going in there. I think I got keys for it. Actually, let's pop the hood. Woo! Oh, this is my first time getting my eyes on. Okay, we got an MSD box right here. A lot of surface rust, a lot of corrosion on the aluminum. Got our ignition coil here. We got, so our intake's up high. Wondering how deep was the water that he drove through. Anyway, we got our ECU right here. We got, oh man, this is like, no, there's no battery. Okay, cool. I got one over there we might be able to use. Actually, I'll probably just go get a new one, to be honest with you. I mean, looking under here, this looks not great. Oh, we got some headers right there. We got some corroded brake lines. What are we looking like? Fluid doesn't look too bad. What's our oil look like? Let's check our oil. Oh, we got our oil fills, oil dipstick zip tied right here. Smells like oil. That's good. Don't smell anything else. It's full too, which is good. Oh, look at that. There's a coolant. I don't see anything like gross in there. Just low. So I also need to preface this by saying my only experience with an F-body is when I pulled the motor from a 99 Z28 for the 67 C10 I have. And that's it. Don't really know what all this stuff is. You know, it's interesting they have the coolant. I guess you check it right here, you fill it right there, or you fill it right here and you check it right there. I don't know. All right, let's hop on over to the back of the car. Okay, we got a car cover. My shocks are not working at all, so we'll have to figure this out. Yeah, we got all this tint needs to come off. Oh, we got something down here. Okay, we got Viper and something else. We'll have to figure out what these are for. Oh boy. Okay, so didn't really see anything back there that was jumping out at me. Oh, let's check to see if it's got an OBD1 or OBD2 port. I can't remember when GM switched over. It's got an OBD2 port. Okay, cool. You know, I'm under here looking at this thing, and it's got an electric water pump. I'm not sure if that's a factory option or not, but that's pretty rad. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off these spark plugs, and oh, where's my light at? I can't see. You know, I have no idea what the condition of the cylinders are. Just making sure there's no black widows down here. Well, they don't really give you a whole lot of room to work either, do they? I want to get some lubrication in the cylinders themselves before we start trying to turn this thing over. We'll do like, you know, we'll see what we got on the shelf, but so while I'm trying to get in here and do these spark plugs, I'm also kind of looking at all the wiring and stuff. I don't know how deep the puddle was that he drove in, but I'm really hoping it's something as silly as like, you know, maybe a popped fuse or a breaker or something like that. Something like that there. What is this thing? Some kind of coil. Power for that. And the added challenge of trying to figure out what all this extra wiring's for. Obviously we have the MSD Digital 6, but you know, that might be coming off. We'll see. You F-body guys are crazy, man. I'm used to like all kinds of space, and there's nothing in here. Holy cow, this is some close quarters here. First plug coming out, looks great, man. There ain't a daggone thing wrong with that. She was running good. Okay. 7 more to go. I'm gonna be a minute, so I'll catch up with y'all in a little bit. Oh, I dropped my sock. Dang it. Well, that took a lot longer than I anticipated. Actually, even embarrassed to admit that. I only pulled out 6 spark plugs. 2 were just too difficult to get to. I even jacked the car up and tried to get under there, and yeah, I just said, you know what, man? 6 out of 8 ain't bad. Got this little contraption here I made up. Got some Marvel mystery oil. Gonna put down in the cylinders. Lost my cap. Not much, just a little bit. It's gonna help lube it up a little bit, you know? I have no idea what kind of condition these cylinders are in. So this will give me a little bit of peace of mind when I start trying to turn this thing over. Good. Oh yeah, that was full. Sweet, all right. Where's that cap at? I lost my cap. Well, we got a little spark plug tester in line. Golly, that's buried in there. Gonna reach down here, maybe. Okay, yep. And all right, yep. Yep. What is a? Yep. All right. moment of truth here. Okay, feeling a wall there. Oh, we went by it. Well, I was able to get up under there. It's a lot easier to spin the crank when you're laying on the ground. But I wanted to bring y'all in here and show you some stuff that I've been finding. So here's that tester that I was talking to y'all about. He's got it hooked up straight to the coil, which you really want to have this hooked up to like one of the cylinders. But you know, I'm looking at this, and if he hit a really big puddle, he could have shorted out his ignition coil, because it's like right up front here. Also, if you look at the wiring for this MSD box, it's not heat shrink wiring. So there's no waterproofing measures at all with this stuff. So that could be an issue. So I think I'm not a big fan of these MSD boxes on like daily drivers. Great for race car stuff, but this isn't a race car. So probably gonna end up bypassing this guy and maybe getting a new coil. You see, now we got the ignition control module right here. This is all kind of new to me because I'm not really used to working on these cars. But one thing, oh, that's not even, well, hey, look at that. So that connector in there is kind of goofy. Yeah, if one of these wires isn't connected, like the whole car is not gonna run. Where did that go? We got this guy right here going straight back to the coil. So is that going to here? Yep, sure is. Okay, so then what are these going to? That's going to the battery. Okay, so this has got our MSD ignition box stuff. Great, that's what that's for. Well, let me see if I got a battery that I got put in here. Dude, it's weird like hooking a battery up to a car that hasn't had a battery in it for like 10 years. All right, here we go. Hooking up power. Hooking up power. Oh, I don't even want to sit in here without a mask on. Oh, it's my first time sitting in this car. Golly. All right. I'm not going to start it, obviously. If that's true, we got a problem. We're going to have to drop this fuel tank. Woo! Golly, I can't sit in there that long. Okay, so no smoke under the hood. Fans are on. I wonder if the AC's on. All right. Okay. I wonder if the fans are hardwired to come on. Could have been having like an overheating issue with it or something, or... There we go, it's a little bit better. All right, I gotta disconnect the fuel pump relay because I do not want that sucker to kick on while I'm cranking it. I think I gotta take this panel off right here. Oh, it's all one piece, holy cow. I probably should have done this before I turned the key on the first time. Yep, that should be it right there. There we go. Let's get our battery hooked back up. Run back over here. Let's turn our key on. Look, one of our dome lights are working. That's cool. Okay, so I'm just going to sit off to the side here. I don't even want to touch that steering wheel.
car's got 117,000 miles on it. Will she crank over and make a huge mess? All right, here I was kind of galloping. That's because I got 2 spark plugs in out of the 8. So she turns over, sounds smooth, which is great. Let me do that again and look at the oil pressure. We got oil pressure. All right, so that's great. It's good to hear. Spinning freely. We're getting oil pressure, which is great. Yep, verified I made a huge mess in the engine bay. We're not going to worry about that right now.
We got our multimeter set up here, and if you keep an eye on our reading, it should be around 0.5 ohm for the primary side. Now the primary side is going to be where the power comes in, where the main power for the coil comes in. So we're going to hook our positive to our positive and our negative to our negative. 0.6 ohms, that's pretty close. So now we got to get our secondary measurement. We're going to come over here to a higher ohm value on the multimeter. Positive goes to the same spot on the positive side, and your negative is going to go where the coil wire is that leads to the, well, in this case it's not a distributor, it's essentially a distributor cap. We got 8.2, which in this reading is 8,000. It's supposed to be around 11,000. 12 volts here. This is the power for the coil, so I want to make sure we got 12 volts here. Which we do not. No power at the coil with the key on means that there's an issue before that. So I'm going to go home and look at some wiring diagrams, see if I can't come up with a game plan for tomorrow. But that could be a faulty ECU, faulty ignition switch. I mean, it's just kind of like there's a couple different things we need to be looking at. So anyway, that's going to do it for me today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and start working on the old fuel system and see if we can get spark to that guy right there. Oh, before I go, you guys think the lights work? Oh, dude, check it out. Oh my goodness, how cool is that? Woo, it's hard to believe them lights work with all that water in there. You can see the water line. See it right there? I'm gonna have to drill a hole in this light. Yeah, it's got a little bit in there. Not nearly as much as this side though. Anyway, all right, I gotta get back to the house and get to looking at this stuff. Back in the shop today, making a little bit of progress. I actually found something out I'm gonna show y'all here in a second, but I did get a new coil, so I wanna show you guys the difference in ohms. All right, look down here real quick. This one is samesies, 0.6. And then the secondary, we gotta bump this guy up to a bigger reading. We're at like 10,300. So that one was at 8,000. Not terrible, but you know, if we want to get this thing to bark off, I want to give it the best opportunity it can. So this one's, it's not too far off, but obviously it is starting to fail. So we're just gonna throw this guy in. Also found something else out on this old car. I was looking around and I don't know why we're not getting any power to the coil, because here's the diagram I printed out last night, and I was looking at it, I'm like, man, I checked all this stuff. I don't know what else to really look at. So I started just going through the harness, because that's the natural next step, you know, just back tracing the harness, seeing if anything's going on with it. Couldn't find anything. Then looking over here, I was like, well, let me hook this, you know, stuff for the box back up. So I did. I put the power leads on, and lo and behold, we got daggone power at the coil. And I said, how the heck is that possible? It's not even connected to the coil at all in any way, shape. I took it all completely out. It's basically disconnected from the car, but sitting there. So I, you know, started running some more tests. Come to find out, this was just like a false positive. Let me show you guys what we got going on. So we got our power in. We're gonna grab our power into the coil. We got, look at that. We got light right now, right off the rip. So that's what you want. You want to have power to the coil so it can do the rest of its job. But this is the fuse for, see, look at that. This is the fuse for the ignition. Something is going on with this fuse block. So we're gonna take this out and see if we can't tighten up that connection, because that should not be fluctuating at all. So I'm thinking what's happening is we're not getting power to the coil because there's not power to the ignition, or maybe it runs for a little bit and then it just shuts off. So I didn't really get a really good description of what exactly the car was doing. So maybe it was one of those things where he drove it through a puddle and, you know, this got loosened up, or maybe he was under here messing with something and got loosened up, and then it just started having these intermittent issues where the car would just cut off. So let's take this guy off and let's see, what do we got to do to get it off? Oh, would you look at that? I didn't even break the plastic yet. All right, let's see if we can get some room under here. Take a peek at this connection. Yep, we got power in right here. Then there's like a, I think it's just a, oh, it's a little crispy there. Yeah, it's just a loose connection. So these pins, you can see kind of that they flare out right here. So that's what holds this in place. And I guess if over time it just loses its grip. So we're gonna push these back out. And I think we'll go ahead and clean it up and make it a little bit tighter. We'll get some needle nose and crimp them together a little more so it bites down on it a little more. You know what I'm saying? Bend these out. Just a little bit. Some electrical contact cleaner. Just get in there and get her a little shinier, you know? Y'all really want to be really careful with this. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to get this bent back in shape. And it doesn't take a whole lot to break this stuff. These are can be so sensitive. Okay, so we'll throw in a new fuse as well. That feels tighter. That does feel tighter. Let's hook our battery back up. Turn our key on. It's a good sign. I'll wiggle it around. Look at that. Oh, it fluctuated a little bit. That's what you want right there. Can you see that? Let me turn that light off. Look, I'm moving it around. Yep. All right, so now we got a constant power to the coil. I'm gonna plug this in. And we're gonna plug the other side of the coil in. And then this goes to the ignition control module. So there should be, I think 2. So that, yep, there you go. There's 1. I think there's 2 hots. Yep. So we got that. All right, so now we got at least power to the coil. I'm gonna put my spark plugs back in, which I'm really not looking forward to at all. It was such a pain in the butt getting them out. And then we'll hop on the back of the car and drop that fuel tank down. Oh boy, all right guys and gals, we gotta get this fuel tank down. Can you even see it? It is buried under there. We gotta pull our exhaust, and I already got the car jacked up. And I'm thinking we'll be able to get this out, but not looking forward to it. These fasteners aren't looking great, so I went ahead and hit them with a wire wheel. I was gonna try to do the right thing and chase the threads, but these are so beat up that skeet, 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 skeet. Oh, I'm out. Oh, we got some left. All right, where's my deep well? My deep well jacket. My goodness, that is loud. Golly. I'm gonna get my 1/2-inch impact. Oh yeah, this one doesn't stand a chance with this bad boy. Ready? Whoops. There we go. We could probably drop that down out the way. So we got a couple hangers as well. After this, it should be it holding the exhaust up. Let's blast these suckers off. Holy sh**. You know, at that point, probably would have been just easier to cut it and weld it back together. But yeah, here we are. Well, I got that other pipe off that came up over here, so now the tank's almost ready to come down. We gotta take out this panhard bar here. Okay, there we go. Let's drop this jack down a little. Yep. So the passenger side is gonna have to tilt down because there's a filler neck that is attached to the fuel tank on the other side. Tank's coming down. Oh yeah, there's some like dirt dauber nests up here. Hang on, hang on. Oh, this isn't like a locking ring one. Looks like this is bolted. Once it comes out, it should just like literally drop down. We got this. Yeah, yeah, buddy, yeah. All right, we're down. Almost. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yep, there she goes. Oh, definitely not full. You know, it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. There's still a bunch of junk in there, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty clean. We might reuse this. Yeah, I think it was time. Oh, the screen's just like deteriorated, falling apart. We got a new one that's going to be here very soon. When I was down here, I decided to just take the old fuel filter out. It was posted up right here. I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning out the fuel lines. These suckers are buried in there. Oh. There he goes. You need these little like fuel line tools when you're working on like a newer car. They're like a quick connect kind of deal. You just slide it over the fuel line and then slide it into the fitting. And it usually pops right out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of convincing. Oh, that came right out. Okay, so we got 3 lines here though. Where does this other one go? Just kind of, oh, it's right here. It's like a vent. All right, we won't worry about that. Let's grab some carb and choke cleaner and just blast it in these lines. Well, it's got the new fuel pump in. Let's go ahead and get this sucker going. I want to see if we can get this thing to fire up. All right, we got our assembly and all right, our new retainer there with fasteners. And then we got some directions. Go get our assembly in here. Now this only goes in one way, but there are 2 alignment tabs up here, so you can't really goof that up. But if you can, I would find a way. All right, we need to get a jack stand under this. How about this jack right here? We're gonna hook up our fuel pump. All right, y'all, listen very carefully. Right here, squat. Let's turn this fan off. Yep, fuel pump's on. Great. Well, I got the old fuel tank setting in place right now. Also turned the ignition on and the fuel gauge is reading empty, so this might be working. I'm gonna put some fuel in here, probably put like a gallon or so. Got the premium, Sue Premium. We'll see if we can't get this fuel system under pressure, see if we got any leaks, and then, heck, see if we can get this thing to bark off. I'm gonna try something here. You think the windows will roll down? Oh yeah. Man, how long do you think it's been since these windows got rolled down? That one doesn't work. We might have some fuel in there. All right, we're in neutral. Let's give her a shot here. So I'm gonna cycle the key on and off a few times, just so we can build pressure in the fuel system. We got any leaks? I don't see any. All right, let's see what happens when we turn her over. Nothing. We'll probably, yeah, it sounded really strong, but it's just not, it's not wanting to bark off. Let's check our power to our ignition coil again. What's our battery got for juice? 12.6. Okay, we got 12 right there. We got 12 on both sides of the ignition coil. Could have an issue with our ignition control module. We got 12 there. We got 12 there. I got under the car, repositioned the fuel cell because it was kind of, the way that fuel cell is, the front's got to be really far up for it to be in the gas, so maybe that did something. Still nothing. All right, so we got the proper voltage to our ignition control module and to our coil. So I'm kind of just going through our wiring diagram here. So everything on this side looks fine. We still could have a faulty ignition control module. So I'm not ruling that out yet. It is getting power, so we might have to grab another one of those. I'm sure there's a way you could test it, I just don't know how. And then we hop over on the other side and we got the signal coming from the PCM. There's a test connection and then it goes right to the OptiSpark. So with the OptiSpark being like right behind the water pump, I feel like that is more likely to have shorted out than anything else, because it's literally just right there. So if you hit a big puddle, all that water is just going to go up and everything. And wow, what a pain in the butt to get to. She is buried in there. Anyway, so this is the connection that goes down to the OptiSpark. So got my ignition on right now, and my power feed is going to be red, or the C connection. Yeah, it's going to be the distributor ignition feed. So we should have 12 volts here. Which we do. And then we have ignition feed signal, low resolution signal, or sorry, high resolution signal, low resolution signal. So those are signal wires, and the distributor reference low signal. So those don't really matter. We're getting power to the OptiSpark. Now, can we pull this harness down here? I can't hardly get to it, man. Hey, there's my magnet. These cars are cool, man, but they are a pain in the butt to work on. I need a longer pick, though, to be able to get that. Oh, it just goes way down there. I was gonna say this, I thought I broke something. All right, where's our ignition? It's, this looks pretty clean in here, and he may have already replaced this, so this could be a different issue. So we should be 12 volts. We got power to the coil, power to the ignition control module, power to the distributor, the OptiSpark. I looked under there, it is a new, well, it's an MSD unit, so it's been replaced. Yeah, digging into wiring, which is not my favorite thing to do, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to do that to figure out what the heck's going on. Oh, this thing is disgusting. Guys and gals, just shot our first ever episode on the Yeah Buddy Extras channel. That's going to be all the extra videos that I want to share with you guys and gals that don't really fit the main channel, Yeah Buddy Garage. In that video, Mr. Wyatt over here blew out his front tire, so I taught the boys how to change a tire on their bikes, and it works good, right? All right, very valuable lesson. Anyway, so we're down to some electrical gremlins on this car. I do have an ignition control module. They had that in stock at the store. We are getting power to everything that needs power to work properly, but something isn't conveying the message to either the distributor, the spark plugs, something's going on. One thing I have not checked is if we're getting RPM signal at the dash. That would indicate that we potentially have a crank position sensor issue. So if we look here, we got our RPMs. Not moving at all. It could be a crank position sensor. So anyway, we got one coming, but it's not here yet. So we're gonna throw in this ignition control module, see if that changes anything. See if she could bark off. I just wanna get her to bark off. The cool thing about this ignition coil is it's not that hard to get to. The coil and the ignition control module are all just right at the front of the block. Now the OptiSpark is buried behind the water pump. So we got this like cooling fin thing going on here. We do need to make sure we put this on. There you go, perfect. Get this sucker on here. This control module is installed. I don't think we're gonna get a change in the way this behaves, unfortunately, because I do think it's a little more than that. But I could be wrong. Oh, buddy, are you serious? Oh my goodness! You boys hear that? Woo! Oh man! Dude, holy crap. Look at all that smoke. Yeah, I can't believe it either, dude. Huh? It is. Yeah, we're smoking it out here. Well, let me fire it back up. I got too excited, didn't even look at the gauges. Great oil pressure. We got an RPM signal. We got actually voltage at the battery. Fuel gauge is working. Oh my goodness, dude, that is so, all right, I gotta put this back together. We gotta take her for a rip. Actually, do we got brakes? It feels like we have brakes. Uh-oh, we're smoking. Where was that coming from? Oh, I wonder if it's all that Marvel mystery oil we put on the headers. Yeah, look, you can see down there, it's smoking. What are we smoking? I think that's all it is.
But it can't seem it still works.
Yeah, neither can I, dude. Okay. We might. I still gotta do a couple things before we could do that, though. Okay, so now it's... Gosh, it fires right up, dude. Got brakes. Clutch engaged. Oh my goodness. It works. Look at that. Dude, we gotta take this for a rip. I'm like, I got goosebumps right now, man. That is freaking awesome. Well, I got too excited. Something blew out. It looks like coolant, maybe? Did you see where that was coming from, buddy?
What's coming? You mean like the spray?
Yeah.
It's coming from like from this.
It doesn't smell like fuel. It smells like, honestly, I don't even know what it smells like, to be honest with you. Like power steering fluid?
Probably the AC.
So we got our water pump. Oh yeah. Okay. Is that water or is it? Yeah, it looks like water. I might have to, oh yeah, it's definitely green. You can see a green tint, a green hue, if you will, right there. So definitely coolant coming from somewhere. I might fire it back up, actually. What is going on here? Okay, that's strange. We had it fired up and then it just quit. I wonder if something got shorted out. All right, well, big win. We got it running. I think we got brakes. Clutch is operable. Transmission feels solid. And I mean, it sounds good. Obviously, like I still have the exhaust off the back. That's why it sounds pretty rowdy like that. But if I could figure out where this coolant leak is coming from, I think we could take this thing for a rip, dude. I mean, I could probably drive it around the parking lot with a little coolant leak. But I'd really like to know where it's coming from because I want to get it stopped. And really, it could be any of these hoses. I mean, you know, this car sat for, what we decided, 14, 15 years. You know, it's a 1995. Like, these hoses could be cracked, dry rotted. You know, dude, let me do some, it's like all right here though, which is weird. Also, like, why wouldn't it start back up? No way, dude. Battery's not dead. Not dead. Oh yeah, brother! Oh yeah! You know what it was, dude? I just added an additional ground to the ignition control module, and she fired right up. So I'm wondering if the original one wasn't bad. I'm wondering if it just had a bad ground, because this is a Florida car. We got a bunch of corrosion and stuff, so, you know, we cleaned up the grounds and blah, 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 whatever. And again, dude, fired right up. I also found a loose hose that I tightened up, and I think that's where the mess came from. So, I mean, dude. What do we got? Great oil pressure. Gosh, dude. Dude, Charlie is gonna be so pumped. I'm gonna take a video of this running and send it to him here in a minute. We got her back down on the ground here. Oh, she's low. Let's see how she sounds. Got the exhaust hooked back up, everything buttoned up under there. Raspy, I like it. I still haven't verified that the electric water pump is water pumping, so I'm gonna keep an eye on my temperature. First things first. First gear. Brakes. Reverse. Brakes. Dude, let's take this thing for a freaking rip. Uh-oh, we're smoking. Oh, it's just the Marble Mystery oil burning off the headers. We got more, like coolant or something. Oh, I wonder if that's brake fluid. Look in there. Yep, we got a pinhole in a brake line. Shoot. So, right here, there's a hole that's shooting brake fluid everywhere. Now I'm hearing a knocking. What is that? Oh, we're leaking something down here too. Well, I think I'm gonna call it. We're leaking too much stuff. We got some coolant possibly. We got a hole in a brake line right here. I'm pretty sure that's still just the oil burning off the headers. I mean, you know what? She's running and driving, but let's get her back in the shop. I don't want to catch this thing on fire. Actually, let me shut my hood. And we're starting to get a funny rattle sound over here. I feel like our belt's about to break. All right. Oh, fans kicked on. Does our tip gauge work? Nope, doesn't work at all. It is hooked up though, I made sure of that. All right, let's put her back in the shop. Yep, try not to hit that brake. Guys and gals, we got the Firehawk running and moving under its own power, and it's been sitting for over a freaking decade. How awesome is it to see something like this come back to life? These old cars and trucks, man, to me, they have a soul and they all have a story to tell. And this story is very special to me because, again, it's a friend of mine, Charlie, whose brother unfortunately passed away, who had the car and just could not get it running after he ran into some electrical issues. And it almost makes me kind of sad in a way because it was, you know, a relatively simple fix that could have got this car back on the road, and, you know, he didn't get to enjoy it in the last years of his life. And, you know, take this as a sign. If you got a car or truck like this that's just sitting, begging for you to get it back on the road, please go out in the garage, in the driveway, in the shop, in the barn, dust it off, and start tinkering with it and figuring out what's going on. There's gonna be a day where we're not gonna be able to drive these cars and trucks, and that's gonna be incredibly sad. So I wanna keep these on the road for as long as possible. I also wanna say thank you to Charlie for trusting me with this car. I know it's very special to him, and I'm honestly like honored to be able to work on something like this. It's one of those things where I know it's very special to him, so for him to trust me to be able to get it back up on the road for him is, I don't know, it's just like a really, really cool feeling. But we aren't done with this car yet. I'm gonna tinker with those little issues that we found, and the next video, we're gonna be doing a polish on the old girl and getting her looking as good as she can. And we gotta do something about this interior because it is moldy and smells like a barn full of wet, dead cats. That's what my shop smells like right now, and that is awesome. But guys and gals, I have run out of time this week to mess with this car. I gotta get this video edited and out to y'all. If you enjoyed it, consider joining the Yeah Buddy Garage community by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and dropping a comment below. Also, if you want some more Yeah Buddy content, check out the all-new Yeah Buddy Extras YouTube channel. Like I just said, we shot the first video today with my kiddos. We're gonna be posting that up on the channel very, very soon. That channel is gonna have all the extra content that doesn't really fit the Yeah Buddy Garage main channel. And if you check out yeahbuddygarage.com, you can pick up some super sweet merch, rocking the Yeah Buddy Garage camo hat. We got keychain stickers, all that kind of stuff. We're in the middle of getting a new merch provider that's gonna give us even more styles of shirts, designs, all kinds of stuff. So if you don't like the designs we have out right now, keep tuning in. We might have something cool come out later on, or we might actually start making shirts of the projects that we have on the channel. That's been suggested to me a couple of times. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm sorry for jibber jabbering. As always, I appreciate y'all hanging around and watching these videos. I'll see you in the next one.